Honestly, my heart's racing. The end's close. My parents are close. I just know it. Thank you. I'm not sure I would have ever made it this far without you.
Already feeling better.
Your mind tingles as it opens to Will. He learns of Mazora's meddling and Floric's tale of the dragon Ansur.
Curse that rotten devil and her forked tongue, trying to set Floric against me. She's a damnable inferno of chaos. What matters now is that Floric saw sense, and we know our path forward. We'll finish what my father couldn't. We'll awaken Ansur, the heart of the gate. O Baldurin, founder due veneration. His guardian dragon Ansur, tremendous in worth. A savior below, our eternal elation. Why shouldn't I? I have no reason to doubt Floric's word, and neither do you. Consider this. To Wormway 'neath prison's deepest level. That must mean Worm's rock prison. That's where we'll find the entrance to this Wormway. Then this. With the shock of a true hero's spark flickers, the torches are light, and Worm's eye shall awake a glitter. To open the way, we'll need to spark torches. This dragon Ansur was Baldurin's ally. We'd be fools to let him sleep while the Dead Three's chosen raised the city.
I bet you're pleased with yourself. Saving Ravengard and making a fool out of me in a single swoop. Go on, do your gloating. You've earned it.
Damn right I did. My father is safe and my chains are broken.
Yes, celebrate your fortunes. But remember that they are lost as quickly as they are gained. For now, you've tipped the scales in your favor. But all it takes is a whisper for me to tip them back. Ravengard will fall. I will strike when the Duke has the most to lose, and I have the most to gain. Clause A, Section 2. Should Soul Holder choose to abandon his patron, he is freed from his duty. His father, Grand Duke Ulder Ravengard, will be thus fated to die by an enemy's hand. A sealed pact is mightier than even Asmodeus's ruby rod. Do you think by merely saving a duke that you were ripping it through? You're such a witless little thing. Laugh in the face of the Archduchess Zariel, and she only laughs back. By all means. Struggle and seethe when I come for Zariel's prize. Play the hero. Put up a fight. But don't forget who signed away his own father's life when Ravengard's finally bled. The Absolutists worked a number on me at Moonrise. And you're the best hope I've got at payback. No one crosses the Hell's Children without getting scorched. Ugh, you are an inquisitive one. I'd have thought you'd figured by now. Zariel found new use for an old battle axe. The dead three in that bulging brain of theirs are a threat to more than this trifling city, you know. Savor her company. Who's to say when Zariel might change her mind? My mistress can be so capricious. Correct. I didn't. If you must know, I was scouting the cultists on behalf of Zariel, but those cursed shadows were thick enough to fell even a half-fiend. I woke in that damned pod. It kept my body sealed and my most powerful magic silenced. But a brave, kind, benevolent soul set me free. Gallantry isn't dead, after all. The 9 hells of Beator. Each its own domain, each with its own archdevil to rule it. I call the first hell my home, Avernus, my mistress Zariel's realm, a torrid battleground split by the bloody waters of the Styx. How I adore it, the delicious agony of it all. The other 8, well, they are pleasures unto themselves. Perhaps I'll show you myself, if I deem you worthy. Why? I'm supplying Will with every scrap of his infernal power. I've paid my dues many times over. I tell you what. When the time comes to squish that big baddie of a brain, I'll lend you a hand.
First you cleave my heart in twain, now you shatter it to pieces. My son, a monster. Twisted beyond recognition. To think my blood flows through those veins. Is this my fate? To be freed from Gortash's hell, only to be trapped in yours?
It isn't what you think. It never was.
You turned your back on me, on your city, to chase the she-devil and her power. She stinks up the place even now. It is exactly what I think. There is always a choice.
Father, please. There's something I must show you.
Ravenguard's tadpole clenches as your memories and wills flow into him.
My tears wounds. I'm in your mind.
The Grand Duke sees Mizora and her infernal sisters. He sees the agony in Will's face as an impossible choice is set before him.
No. My son.
The past becomes present, and Will's thoughts are laid bare. Ravenguard sees Will partnering with Mizora to defeat Tiamat's cultists before they could lay siege to Baldur's Gate, and he sees everything beyond. The Nautiloid journey, the perilous path to Moonrise, the astral prison, and the Emperor within.
Will.
Everything I did for Baldur's Gate. I did for you.
My son. You sold your soul to save Baldur's Gate, and I cast you out for it. You gave yourself to the Hell's eternal fires so I might walk free. By the gods. Can you ever forgive me?
There's nothing to forgive. You wanted to protect the city. I only ever wanted the same.
You are a better man than most. and a better son than I deserve. I'll yet make amends, but my duty is first and foremost to the city and its people. There's something I must ask of you. Before I was captured, I was on a mission. Returning from Elturel, I discovered the plans of the Absolutists. I immediately realized the city couldn't defend itself against such an army. I didn't despair, because the city has a secret guardian, a worm that sleeps beneath. He can be called upon in times of great need. This is such a time. You've been trained in the ways of the great champions and proven to be one of them. The worm will answer your call. You must seek him out.
Courage, insight, strategy, justice. I remember them well. You made me recite them every morning.
So you do. And I thought you'd abandoned them. More fool me. The worm goes by many names. Ansur, the waiting storm, the heart of the gate. He promised Baldur he'd protect the city if ever its existence was threatened. But just the once. Since then, the city has faced countless threats, but we always overcame. There was never a need to call on the worm. Until now. The Absolute is the greatest threat Baldur's Gate ever faced. The worm must be awakened, and the task falls to you. Take this. The legend of Ansur. An ancient epic. Ill-remembered. Dismissed as a mere tale. Let it set the path before you. The legend has it that Ansur will only answer to a proven hero of the city. Until a moment ago, I thought that was me. But is he who rejects his own child a hero? What of he who calls his brave son a monster? You showed me the truth. You showed me that I was the one who turned his back. You showed me that Will may be the future of Baldur's Gate, and well beyond it. Thank you. And may the city know the truth of my only son. Pride of Ravengard. Pride of Baldur's Gate.
We'll finish what my father couldn't. We'll awaken Ansur, the heart of the gate. O Baldur, founder due veneration. His guardian dragon Ansur, tremendous in worth. A savior below, our eternal elation. Why shouldn't I? I have no reason to doubt my father's word, and neither do you. Consider this. To worm way 'neath prison's deepest level, That must mean worms. Then this dragon Onsor was Baldur's ally. It's complicated. There's the joy of It's a flurry of emotion. I'm not sure how to make sense of it. Joy. To my father, I was only ever a boy. Once all this is ended, once we've crushed the brain and freed the people, I could once more call Baldur's Gate home. Whether I return there, well, only time will tell.
The dog wags his tail, a small bag clenched between his teeth. He gives in and surrenders his find to you.
You wish to consult me? Nervous? Don't be preposterous. I am on alert, as you should be too, given who hunts us. I have faced Orin before, and she left scars on me that will never heal. She will enjoy adding to them, and she can strike whenever she pleases. She could be anywhere. Could be anyone.
Despite her protestations to the contrary, it is clear that Minthara is afraid.
Do not presume to know how I feel. We need to watch over each other, now more than ever. I do not want a devil to hold my fate in his hands any more than a god. Aren't you tired of bowing and praying before? I say we put the devil from our minds and trust in ourselves. If anyone should have the power of the crown, it should be us. He is rather fond of himself. If he truly intends to be the savior of Baldur's Gate, perhaps he has reason to be. Even if I personally faced down the army of the Absolute and drove it from the city single-handedly, I would not be welcomed as a savior. No matter what I do, the people of Baldur's Gate will always see me as an enemy. I do not want to be tolerated. I want to be feared. Don't you? When we have all 3 Netherstones and control the Elder Brain, all of Faerun will have reason to fear us. Yes. I only know it through history books and hearsay. A city of murder and grief. It is already living up to the legend. A disparate collection of vagabonds and strays. Did you have anyone particular in mind?
I have never known anyone so ferocious and unassailable in battle, and yet so fragile and impermanent in their very being. I often think of mortality as a curse. In time, all that I am and all that I have known and learned will be lost. In time, our cities will be dust. Karlak does not seem to have such anxieties. Perhaps because she cannot afford to. She exists in the moment, and she will burn out and be gone in a moment. There is something very beautiful about that.
It would have been better for us had she embraced Shah and claimed the power of the goddess. But it is better for Shadowheart to be free of that poisonous influence. The gods are the source of our woes. Though I concede that Shah is far from the worst of them. Your divine puppeteer is just as toxic as Shadowheart's, my little marionette. The Night Singer has some admirable qualities. Far more than her insipid sister. But her followers are repressed. Take the child Shadowheart. She does not even know who she is, but still manages to pity herself. The very concept of shaman worship is self-indulgent. They would have you think every whispered word and hidden thought is of value, but it is not so. I have performed 1,000 interrogations, squeezing out the most guarded secrets held in heart, mind, and soul. I can tell you this. When the trivial parts have been whittled away and I have sifted through what remains, in most cases, a person amounts to nothing at all. From the still, dark waters of Lake Donegarten to the black academies of Tierbresh, it is a city of wonders and terror. But it is not my home anymore. If I were to return, I would be denied all of its wonders and shown only the terror. I am a daughter of Menzoberranzan's most ancient and powerful house, the Bainray. I lived a life of privilege and danger. My home was at the tallest point of Cuel Arzol, the place of the nobles, a plateau high above the city's sprawl. I enjoyed every luxury, whether harvested in the Underdark or stolen from the surface, and I survived my first assassination attempt while I still suckled at my mother's breast. I tasted her blood that day. She covered my body with her own, and a blade bit deep into her chest, almost puncturing her heart. When I came of age, she tried to take my life herself, and I gave her fresh scars to match those she earned protecting me. I expect so. If the world were to end, I think my mother would survive to rule over the ruins. She taught me to be resilient and to guard my heart from those who cannot be trusted, literally and figuratively. When I choose to let somebody close, I do not do so lightly. That gives a great depth of meaning to the bonds I do share. I was the Absolute's dagger. I remember every throat that it held me to, and every drop of blood it forced me to spill. I take no responsibility for the lives I took. I did nothing in the Absolute's name. I was merely a weapon that it wielded. I would rather die than endure it again. The tadpole, the Absolute, they work together like a drug. I did not feel I was compelled to act against my will. I felt ecstatic to serve. Every action seemed a deliberate choice, the best choice, even though I could no more have resisted its commands than flesh can resist decay. Even rational minds like ours cannot reject such a powerful influence. The Absolute can make the impossible seem inevitable. I take no pleasure in his passing. Whatever faults he may have had, Ketheric was a great leader. Life was crueler to him than death. It is no great wonder that he found his strength in Merkel. I believe he was an honorable man, but the gods used him as their plaything. First, Shah and her sister, then the three behind the Absolute. I sympathize. A meaningless question. If he had killed us and conquered the Sword Coast, I would envy him. As it is, he lost, and I pity him. But I will never forgive him for handing me to Orin. For that, I hope Merkel hollows out his bones and lets them be dust. I took up my oath long ago, when I swore bloody vengeance against any who defied Lolth. Now, I myself have sinned against the Spider Queen. Though my faith is shattered, my oath endures. I am sworn to destroy all those who serve the Absolute. It is not noble, it is necessary. If we do not destroy the cultists, they will destroy everything. We are all that stands between this world and annihilation. A true soul came to my city preaching a message of togetherness, accompanied by 2 novices. Menzoberranzan is not fertile ground for such messages. I killed them and hanged their bodies in my garden. I thought so too. This world is full of fools, after all. But in this instance, I was mistaken. Our visitors were not fools. They were bait. Even as the flesh sagged and sloughed away from their eyeless skulls, their audacity infuriated me. I had to know where they came from. And whoever sent them was counting on my curiosity overcoming my caution. Yes. All it took was a simple act of necromancy, and the corpses told me where I needed to strike. Moonrise Towers. No. I was prepared for combat, but I intended to strike subtly. As it turned out, to my shame, I was defeated without even drawing my weapon. I came to Moonrise with a retinue of warriors and assassins, the best House Bainray had to offer. I expected a battle, but found a fully laden feast table and a welcome befitting a house matron. Ketheric expected us, expected me, and I fell for his flattery. It is a mistake I hope never to repeat. Ketheric proposed an alliance between Moonrise and Menzoberranzan. I admit I was captivated by him. He invited me to the head of his table as his guest of honor. I was wary, of course. If I had been in his position, the food would have been poisoned. It was not the food I should have been wary of. It was the pale woman at the foot of the table, Orin the Red. We had barely begun to eat when she spoke for the first time. I only caught one word, my name. Then, quick as lightning, she climbed onto the table, a dagger in each hand, and skipped toward me, slicing the throats out of my men as she passed them. Few things frighten me. Orin is one of them. Ketheric held me still, his hand on my shoulder, the grip tight enough to crack the bone. When Orin stood before me, she touched the dagger to my eye, drawing out a tear of blood. "I want this one," she said. Ketheric nodded his permission, and I was taken below. You've seen the horrors of the colony. Orin kept me there for days. She forced me to watch as my men were processed, some for food, others as thralls. And then she placed the tadpole in my eye herself. That is certain. You know the rest as well as I do. There were massacres before the Grove. Religious communities mostly. Those who refused to convert. Then there was you, and now there is freedom. Soon there will be vengeance.
Thou hast now a bosom companion. Take care that thou art not distracted on thy quest. Recall that in time, all becomes dust. Fate spin. Dost thou require a new ally? Or mayhaps a resurrection? Then thou must return with the proper payment. This is the price of balance. Well, by doom and dusk, I strike thy name from the archives. Rise. Fate, dost thou require a new act? The girl has left to hew her own path. She left behind a letter, as thou doth know. Hast thou other business?
got to keep moving.
I have a lot on my mind and, well...
Since we arrived in the city, I can't help but feel a little... anxious. But I'm not sure I know why. I don't think it's what happens if we fail that concerns me. We'll be beyond our worries at that point. I think what bothers me is what happens if we succeed. I've never been able to write my own future. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Well, I want to save my parents, of course. Take them away. Far from Shah's influence. Someplace peaceful. Away from the city, perhaps. I'd like room for animals. Lots of them. All shapes and sizes, so long as they appreciate a warm fire and more affection than they know what to do with. I want to grow flowers. I want to be surrounded by colors every day. I'm tired of darkness. Yes. I want to share it all with you. If you're willing. Then it sounds like I have everything I need. More of life than I'd ever imagined possible without Shah.
Another step forward. Don't want to draw any attention. Free for the taking.
Ready for some good news. Light as air.
Indolence breeds madness. An efficient path.
Unheard, unseen.
Should have worn better boots.
You're in no position to negotiate. And look at all these unfinished watches.
What do we have here?
You have beaten and tormented us to the brink of insanity. You cut out my eyes, but we will bow no more. Gondians! Rip the motivator from this bastard's hands! For Gond!
What's cooking? Easy does it. Quiet.
With every breath, a purpose.
Prince's motivation sequence activated.
Where do I go from here? Time to press ahead.
On my word.
Time to strike.
I need to concentrate. I see a way. It's disarmed. My heart's about to hammer right out of my chest.
Can't give up now.
Did you see what happened? Is my little girl... Is Obedia safe? My heart. I thought her lost. I would give more than just my sight to keep her safe. Our destination is the Neurosita, the nerve center of the Steel Watch. Guide me there, and I'll do the rest. This is hardly the time for errands. Do as you wish, but then we must go. Our destination is the Neurosita, the nerve center of the Steel Watch. Guide me there, and I'll do the rest.
Indolence breeds madness. Let's keep your hands to your...
No one's stopped me yet. I need to find a way forward. Softer than a whisper. What path lies before me? Oh, my hand slipped.
whisper mode. Mine. Staying out of sight. Without delay.
Fight against progress. I will not allow it.
Sequence activated. It's Alibi.
you've done it before.
Victory awaits. Another one down, but it's not over just yet.
shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times. What path lies before me?
We heard trouble was coming. Glad to see I could lend a hand.
You took down the Iron Throne, didn't you? Did you see my sister? Never mind. There'll be time for that later. Keep going. We'll watch your back.
Tubin said you were on the way. Glad to see the old...
Looking ahead. I'll give it a shot.
Making me sweat. What next?
Action, not reaction.
Don some armor, then learn to swing a sword. If you can manage the extra weight, that is.
Something caught your eye then? Careful. Most of my wares can take an eye right out. My weapons won't be...
This is a restricted area. Time to explain yourself, or this guard will be restricting you to a cell. You're convicted. Best not try.
If you insist.
Stopped by a guard. It seems your presence here is forbidden. Your word should... You're stopped by a guard. It seems your presence here is forbidden. You're convicted should you transgress.
Once the city's under siege. Too right. I'll go 600.
What to do? Don't give me trouble now.
can't slow down.
Not surprised. Water's been grimy as anything recently. Haven't had a clean catch in a 10-day war.
Have to keep going. Cursed to put my hands on everything. If not over, then through. Maybe I need more pockets. No traps, please.
The inscription reads, "Fresh supplies for the Steel Watch, courtesy of Necromancer Balthazar." Your mind whirls as the brain, swimming with parasitic juices, connects with yours. With a